What is up, guys? Jake from One Hive here with a video talking about the recent update and just the state of Clash of Clans in general and the future of the game. I've gotten basically daily requests since the update came out. Jake, when's the update video going to come out? When we want to hear your thoughts on the update. So let's do it. Let's talk about the update. It takes a while on an update like this to actually get my thoughts together and to get a fair assessment of it because I'm not a Town Hall 10. I'm not a Town Hall 11. I'm not a trophy pusher. I'm not a hardcore farming guy. So all of those things I have to gather information on. I have to listen to people that I respect and that I know or know what they're talking about. And I also have to, just take time to process my thoughts. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of changes in the game. But the only thing I can speak directly to is Town Hall 9 war stuff. And I am going to talk about that. But it's, everything else I have to sort of gather information on because I'm not experiencing that part of the game. So let's just get right into it. We're going to go through it sort of step by step. And there's going to be a lot of negative stuff towards Supercell, but I think it's justifiably so. And then there's going to be some more positive things towards the end, and we'll sort of build to try to end on a positive note. That way the video doesn't end sort of on a down note. First things first, when we talk about this update in general, the first thing that jumps out at me is the personal break system, the shield system, all of this stuff that goes on in the game. And when you're talking about that, at least for me, it all goes back to months and months and months ago when they first implemented the break, I guess for lack of a better term now to call it, where after 6 hours it kicked you off the game. You had to get off the game. And if I was running a game company and we had an issue, which is the reason this all came about is because of trophy pushers, and that we had an issue where people were abusing the system, which people will abuse any system, where they're building Lego devices, they're putting fruit on their screens, they're doing all these crazy things to stay online to prevent themselves from being attacked. And the best solution that my team came up with was to force people off of our game. You develop this game and you try to make it, and because you've got a broken trophy pushing system, the solution is to kick everyone off the game after a set number of hours. There would be some job openings for that team, and I know that Supercell doesn't run their company that way. They sort of celebrate or borderline encourage failure. When they had this other game that they developed and it sort of flopped and no one liked it, or I guess not enough people liked it, that they actually just canceled the project, they opened champagne and celebrated. So it's such a cultural difference from what Americans are used to. And I know some other countries that are more, I don't know, competitive, if maybe this is the correct word. But if failure is not rewarded in our society, maybe it is there. I don't know. But again, if that was the solution my team came up with, let's force people off of our game. There would just be people would be fired. That's how I would run the company. Clearly, that's not what they do. I'm not sitting here telling you that I can tell you the perfect solution for trophy pushing because, again, I'm not a trophy pusher, but I promise you, with some time and effort, you could come up with something. If you had to rebuild the trophy pushing system from the ground up, something is better than forcing people off of your game. And now, for this update to come out and to have this convoluted, confusing mess of a system with personal breaks and shields and all of that stuff, to where literally someone that picks up the game might get forced off in the first few minutes that they're playing the game. Nope, take a break. You have to take a break. And then if someone attacks you and they don't get 30%, you get to be on for 15 minutes and then you get kicked off again. And that can be repeated up to 3 times before you finally get a shield and just are able to play the game. Clearly, nobody was thinking about the war scene when they did this. When wars that are close come down to the wire, a lot of times you're holding attacks, waiting to see if you need to go for a 3-star, maybe a higher percentage 2-star if you're a Town Hall 10, what you need to do. No one thought about those guys that are just logging on or trying to wait for those last few minutes of war, and oops, they're getting kicked off for some personal break because someone somewhere is willing to stay on their device for 24 hours a day and mess up the pushing scene. So again, it's just being that it wasn't thought through clearly, and all angles were not thought of. And again, if my team brought this to me and said, we are going to actually put this in the game, man, the heads would roll. It would be hell to pay, I guess is the best way to say it. But that's what we've got. That's what's in the game right now. And we're going to have to learn to adapt to it. Hopefully they realize how ridiculous it is. And I think the solution is to find some way to where you can design a trophy pushing system. That's what people want to do. You get trophies for having successful attacks to where they can stay on all they want to. It never kicks you off the game. Even if you can just be attacked while you're online, fine. Now, that can't be that complicated. Other games do it. You can be, I think Rival Kingdoms does it. You can be attacked while you're playing the game. You can lose resources while you're playing the game. And no one ever has to be booted off. So, there's got to be a better way. I can't believe that this is what they've put out there, but it is. Hopefully they do some head scratching and some thinking and get a better solution for us going forward, because trophy pushing is screwed up and the personal break system is screwed up. So there's a lot of problems there. Moving on, Town Hall 11. Again, if my team brought me something so out of whack, so out of balance, to where immediately people were just wrecking these maxed out Town Hall 11s with maxed out offense, I'd fire them. If that made it out the door, and I was in charge, those people would lose their job, and I'd be hiring new people that tested more, that found a way to test more, that maybe brought people in to test it and make sure that stuff like that never got to the public. It's just a shame. It's a huge, you're talking about $1 billion a year gaming company, and something like that makes it out. It's honestly, it's embarrassing is what it is. And they should be embarrassed that stuff is not tested more. If it is in their minds tested, they need to revamp their testing system, because there's literally no excuse for something like that ever making it out of the door to the public and having to go back and immediately try to fix it. Why not test it some more and then not have to have that go back, fix it, do a quick update, things like that. Farming, and we'll start moving towards a little bit of, actually, let's go back. So let's do trophy pushing here. We've sort of talked about it a little bit, but you've got to figure a way where these guys, in a trophy pushing system that like they have now, they've implemented this Legend League, and that's good stuff because it's a resetting, and they'll never sort of get carried away where they can't ever catch up again. And that's all good stuff, but you have to find a system to where matches come pretty easy, and it needs to be probably more based on town hall level and more like a war weight type, for lack of a better term, ranking than your actual trophy, cups, because if you're a maxed out Town Hall 10, let's say, you should be attacking around maxed out Town Hall 10s, maybe a little bit rushed Town Hall 11s, maybe mid Town Hall 10s, in that range. Who cares what trophy range they're in? You're attacking a base that's similar strength to yours, and that's what it should be. And then set the cup levels however you want to. It shouldn't matter what cup range they're in. If you're bringing good, solid attacks that are successful, you should get rewarded with trophies. If you are failing on those attacks or not bringing good, solid attacks or barely squeaking by, you should get fewer trophies. So who cares? That way you don't have to worry about, if I'm in Legend League, I have to find someone else that happens to be in Legend League. There are hundreds of thousands of bases out there that are comparable, that are fair. If you can beat them, you get the cups. If you can't, you don't. So completely rework the system to where it has nothing to do, the bases you find have nothing to do with the trophy range that you're in. It has to do with where you're at in the game and finding bases that are similar to where you're at in the game for loot and for trophies. It's just what's fair. You should not be hitting, as a Town Hall 10, you shouldn't be hitting Town Hall 9s. It's too easy. There's no challenge there. You can just roll over the base with a crappy army. If you've got upgraded heroes, they can almost take the base out by themselves. So it makes no sense. Completely change the system to where the search algorithm is based more on like a quote unquote war weight, to where you're finding things that are close to you that way. And probably need to rework the war algorithm. That's a whole other topic, but rework it to where offense is taken into consideration, because it does make a big difference on the search for farming, and for trophy pushing it wouldn't, but we're talking about for war there. But rework that. Trophy pushing is just, the whole concept and system is completely broken, and because of that, they have to implement all this crazy crap like personal breaks and all that stuff that makes absolutely no sense. You don't force people off your game. It's insane. It really is. Let's move more towards a more positive tone now. We've sort of bashed on Supercell enough, I guess. and sort of said that people should be fired, which I think they should. The only other place that you can work and put out stuff like this and not get fired is for the United States government. So all those people could be easily find new jobs here somewhere in the U.S., working for the government, because you cannot lose a job. Doesn't matter how incompetent you are there. But farming had some big changes on this one. Mainly the town hall no longer providing you a shield. And honestly, guys, I've heard a lot of complaining about this, and it has hit me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've lost a tremendous amount of dark elixir since this was implemented, but it's fair. Honestly, that's not a bad thing. The town hall giving you a shield never made any sense. It's dumb. It's almost like we're all in shock right now, because used to, when you had your town hall outside, if you got hit with an actual army composition that was going for your loot and going for your base, you're like, what is that guy doing? Why is he wasting his resources and wasting his time, unless he's trophy pushing up, to actually attack my base when he could have grabbed my town hall, got the bonus, and got out? If you were in a high enough trophy range, which is what we all did. And it made perfect sense, and it was great, except for the fact that it was it had nothing to do with the spirit of the game. So them moving that inside, while it's unfortunate for people like me that rarely, I don't farm. I mean, you guys know that by now. I'm not a hardcore farmer. But they were rewarding guys like me and punishing the guys that actually got out there and grinded it out and farmed. And that makes no sense. You reward the guys that are on your game that play it the most, which is what they're doing now. If you're a hardcore farmer, I dare to venture and say you actually really, really like this. There are probably more bases out there for you to hit, and there's more good bases with loot in the storages and loot in the collectors and things like that for you to grab and take it out. Now, people are having to bring stronger armies to get to all that loot, but hey, that's the trade-off. If I want to start farming really hard, I bet there's plenty of loot out there for me to get. But if I want to sit on my base like I tend to do and not farm, I should not be rewarded for that. So that part's fair. I get it. I understand why they did it. It makes sense. No, it's not a great thing for me personally, but that doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about the masses and what's fair to the players that are playing your game. And this is a fair adjustment. So farming, I think they've made good steps towards it. I think they've made good decisions about it. The game in farming is probably in the best shape it's been in ever because of that. So yes, we're losing dark elixir, but you know what that means? It means those guys that are out there humping it, building those armies, doing the farming attacks, are getting that dark elixir, and they deserve it. They're doing the attacks, they're building the armies, they're spending the time. They deserve to get the rewards. So we can do the same thing if we want that. Now let's go to, we've talked a lot about stuff. Let's talk about war, because that's what we do here. We war. Town Hall 9. They ruined it. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, it is way too easy. It is every war that we're in, we have Town Hall 9s. There is sometimes double-digit Town Hall 9 attacks left when all the Town Hall 9s are cleaned up. And because of that, I think you're going to see people start to move up. Town Hall 10 is not there yet, but let me tell you this, and this might surprise some of you guys. I don't think it's far off. I think the extra 30 seconds and the extra dark spell have made more of a difference than you might think. It is, don't get me wrong, it's not balanced. It needs more tweaking, but we're probably only 1 or 2 tweaks away from where it actually needs to be, guys. Maybe one troop upgrade. I'm not going to tell you what the silver bullet is because I don't know. But if I had the ability to test things like Supercell does, in a week I could have that thing balanced. And if someone is at Supercell right now is not running thousands of simulations with like the Grand Warden at level 5, or maybe level 6 hogs, or maybe level 7 balloons, or something like that on Town Hall 10, then again, they should be fired, because it's really not that far away. I think 1 or 2 tweaks and it's there, and they would have something really, really nice and an incentive for a lot of people to move up, a lot of people to spend gems on those heroes and whatnot. I'm hopeful. I really am. I think hopefully they are doing that. They are running lots and lots of tests, because it just needs a little bit more. It's not there yet, but it's close. You see it in our last few wars. More and more Town Hall 10 3-stars rolling in. So I am hopeful for the future of Town Hall 10, as long as Supercell is paying attention and they're doing this the right way. Hopefully they are. There's no way for us to know, and they don't communicate with us, so there's no way for us to know until it comes out. But I am maybe foolishly hopeful for the future of Town Hall 10. Town Hall 11. Guys, it's not like it was at Town Hall 10. It's not broken right from the get-go and impossible to get a 3-star. Actually, it was way too easy to get a 3-star, and they've had to dial it back. So I don't think Town Hall 11 is going to be this thing that we all dreaded like we did Town Hall 10. The reason people camped at Town Hall 9 is because it was so great. It had nothing to do with us not wanting to progress in the game. We all want to progress. That's just human nature. But there was that obstacle there of what you're progressing to is a miserable experience. So none of us did it. I don't think Town Hall 11 is that. Again, I haven't played it, but I've watched some attacks now and I've seen it. And for it to be too easy and have to dial it back is a lot easier than to try to recover from like what Town Hall 10 was for a year and a half. That was just awful. So again, I think I'm strangely optimistic about the future of war. Obviously, it takes them way too long to give us any attention and listen to what we're asking for at war. But you do have people like Chief Pat and Galadon saying that the next update is a war-focused update. I'm not sure they know what that means. Not Chief Pat and Galadon, but I mean Supercell. I'm not sure that they're in touch with us enough to know what we're asking for. I hope they are. They say that they listen to everything, so let's keep our fingers crossed and hope. It isn't going to be a long wait. It's going to be months and months till we see this. But guys, we've waited a year and a half since war came out. Almost over a year and a half now. So again, strangely, I'm optimistic still. In fact, almost like a renewed optimism for this game. I was as bummed out as anybody, in the last 3-4 weeks or a month. And maybe it's just the excitement of the possibility of something new. Town Hall 10, getting that balance and getting to experience a whole new part of the game. And then again, if Town Hall 11's close and we don't have to dread moving up, we can all just enjoy progressing through this game instead of stalling out like we have because there was such a sweet spot there at Town Hall 9. So that is, in a nutshell, guys, my thoughts on the update. I know that it went all the way from wanting them fired to being optimistic, so a pretty big swing there. But that's how I feel about it. I think that there's a lot of changes that need to be made the way Supercell runs their company. Of course, I'm sure they don't care what I think about it. They've been very successful, so they're probably going to keep doing what they've been doing. But in my opinion, there's a lot of mistakes made pretty often that could be avoided. And the personal breaks and Town Hall 11 and all that are just an example of it. But they have made some good decisions. They have made some steps towards Town Hall 10 and possibly Town Hall 11 balance. Let's see if they keep in that direction. And again, we'll see what that quote-unquote war update holds in store for us in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, Jake from One Hive doing my best to help you guys suck less.